I'm Preston Lee and I'm obsessed with hospitality, and I'm going around to restaurants all over the world and testing out their hospitality, not just their food and their drinks, the actual experience. I truly believe that as consumers, we should only support the businesses that go through the effort to make sure that we're taking care of as consumers by making sure their staff's trained to give us hospitality what we deserve, we're paying our hard-earned money for. And so we're going out, we're testing different restaurants. We're actually out in Minnesota right now checking out Sanjusan. So Sanjusan opened up in 2021, which was a very difficult time to open up. They've been very successful, and it actually means the number 33, which is their address. It was founded by Daniel De Prado and Shigeyuki. They are well known in the Minnesota area, chef owners, very well respected, and they combined a very unique concept, Japanese and Italian food. So the art and the precision of Japanese food with the brimfire nature of Italian food. So think hot, industrial, wood fire ovens mixed with the subtle nature of Japanese food. So both Japanese and Italian are very precision based, they're very quality based, right? They really believe in pure ingredients, and this is a combination I can't wait to check out. All right, let's do this. The host experience was a 3 out of 3. Greeted us right away. We were like walking away. She saw us, came right back. Couldn't find a reservation, but was super accommodating. We had to do this awkward thing. We went up to an elevator to go to the 4th floor where there's more tables, and there's a long wait for the elevator, and she made conversation the whole time, talked about the food, asked us where we're from, and it was super friendly, polite. Yeah, fantastic. And overall ambiance, initial reaction is the place looks amazing. Great lighting, great vibe, you know, uniforms, everything. It's a really, really good experience. And music is cool. I like the music, like modern hip hop. And yeah, now we're gonna check out the service experience and the food and see what it's all about. So the initial greet was a little bit weak. We're talking about 15 minutes of waiting, no apology, no nothing. Basically, you guys wanted to start off with something to drink right away, right? Very unique concept. They're infusing Japanese with Italian, so you would think they'd want to get us a little bit excited about it, walk us through the process. We couldn't even find the drink menu, and then he basically said that the hostess should have given us a drink menu. I had to ask him to walk us through the menu, give us recommendations, so not a great start, but food does look good. So I like this menu a lot. Very, very interesting. They have small plates, they have skewers, salads, pastas, and pizzas. Pretty limited selection in a good way, right? Simple, minimalist, nothing overbearing. There are some interesting concepts like raw tuna on a pizza, or you have a seafood bolognese, which I have not seen before. They also have interesting things like their starters. They have a duck tataki. Even the pork dumplings have a fargois in it, which is really, really interesting. So I'm curious to see what this food turns out to be. All right, so order was not timely at all. We're going into over 20 minutes for a food order. Again, didn't get us excited about anything, didn't go over anything too exciting. And friendliness just really isn't there. It's kind of like we're playing by their rules kind of concept, so we'll see how it goes. But the food still does look good. Still waiting for that drink, by the way. It does have a nice crunch. So the appetizer was phenomenal. Had a nice crisp to it. The flavor was there, well made. You could tell it's high quality ingredients. It had a cabbage slaw underneath it, so it had the crispiness and the savoriness, heaviness of the sweet potato croquette, but then the slaw gave it this light, zesty mixture, and then the dipping sauce, which was a mayo, which was fantastic. They can actually put that into a burrito. They can literally wrap that up into a tortilla with the slaw and the sauce, and you'd be in heaven. But regardless of that, absolutely phenomenal dish.
Your margarita pizza here.
Which is Nine's little brother, Sean. You can tell it's real sourdough crust made in-house because it has that, almost like that alcoholic aftertaste to it, which I love. Some people associate it with sourdough, but it has that flavor, which means it's authentically made. They actually ferment the yeast and all that good stuff, so yeah, good stuff.
Mentake lumake, finished with toasted nori.
So a Italian-Japanese dish. I'm very excited. I don't know what makes it Japanese, to be honest with you. Maybe I can ask them. First of all pasta is made in-house, and you can tell just by the way the pasta looks. It's imperfect, so it's definitely made in-house. It has nori on it, so Japanese, I think it's seaweed, so that's interesting. Has crushed pine nuts, basil. I mean, look at that, that does look beautiful. Let's try this with a piece of basil, boom. So good with the basil. Game over. I don't know, it just gives this weird flavor to it, in a good way. The nori definitely gives it a Japanese fish flavor. Not overpowering at all. What's really interesting about this dish is it's like subtly changes as you're eating it. So it goes a little bit spicy, then it goes a little bit buttery. It changes flavors while you're eating it, which shows complexity in it. How they do that, I don't know, but it's freaking delicious. Oh man, this smells super. Oh man, this smells super. This is the ultimate fusion of Italian and Japanese It doesn't get any more. I'm just thinking it's hot because this has raw, spicy tuna on it, cilantro, cabbage. Sounds crazy to me. To be honest with you, I use a lot of crazy food. I'm down to eat anything, and I'm always open-minded. Stuff usually makes sense. This does not make sense to me, but I'm gonna try it and give it a shot. Nice and pretty. The sauce looks amazing. I don't know how, but it works. The cabbage helps with the earthiness. Cilantro gives it a lot of flavor. I love cilantro. The ceviche is raw. It's tossed in a lime juice and cilantro, salt, so it's like almost like a ceviche. And the marinara sauce is amazing. I don't even know if it's marinara, it's just tomato sauce. They just make it in-house, but it's freaking good. It works. I can't believe it, but it works. I wouldn't say it's like a winning combination, right? Like, oh my God, how come these haven't been brought together? It's more of like an impressive feat that they actually work. Yeah, it's good. I'm not mad at it. It's a shrimp pizza, I'm gonna call it that. It has shrimp on it. It has charred cabbage, which you can see here, it looks almost like garlic. And then it has, I believe, fish skin. I think these are, flaked fish skin. I thought that the ahi tuna would be crazy, but this one seems like it might be the crazy one. True fusion of Japanese and Italian. Is it gonna work? I don't know, we'll see. Not bad. It's definitely not probably what you're gonna expect when you bite into it. It's definitely not bad, but it's not my favorite. The sauce is a little bit too sweet, but it's definitely interesting, and it's, like I said, with everything considered, it's not bad. Thank you, my man. So this is an almond pudding, basically. Has like a raspberry sorbet on top, then candied almonds. Dude, that is amazing. It has like an almond pudding on the bottom. The style of this is so unique because they don't use milk, they use almond milk, and they don't use gelatin to thicken it, but it has like a more natural texture. And then candied almonds on top, you can't be mad at it. So there's a lot of things working for Sanjusan. I think it's a great restaurant. Let me just break it down on the numbers. Ambiance, we gave it a 3 out of 3. The ambiance was fantastic. I felt like I was at the owner's house. The lighting, the wood, it's very Japanese. I don't know if I saw like Italian touches to it. I might be wrong. I was upstairs. Downstairs had a wood fire oven grill in the middle, kind of like a traditional Neapolitan restaurant, but phenomenal. Great. Lighting, mood, music, absolutely phenomenal. They're playing like modern hip hop, loved it. Cleanliness, for me, was a 3 out of 3. Everything was clean, even in the bathrooms. So important. Make sure they're well stocked, make sure they're well built. Menu design was a 3 out of 3. Really simplistic, really easy to read and navigate. It was really well made, I think. It was minimalist, which I really liked. Not overly complex. The drink, where everything was placed, the menu, the design, everything, the fold even. Very creative. Host interaction was a 3 out of 3. Fantastic job. She was friendly. They lost my reservation. She accommodated me. She just made conversation the whole time. We had to go up to an elevator for the 4th floor where the second dining room was, and that was an awkward wait for the elevator, but she made conversation with us the whole time. Super pleasant. Initial greet. Here's where we dropped the ball dramatically. 0 out of 3, right? It took us 15 minutes to get greeted. Even worse. No apology. No, hey, sorry about that. I think the server was busy. That's fine. Talk to us. Let us know. When you come up to us 20 minutes later and you don't acknowledge it, and it's very much like a, hey, how you doing? Are you ready to get started off with something to drink? It just shows lack of care. And that's a big deal, right? We're here for hospitality. I don't want to wait 15 minutes to get greeted. I'm excited. A lot of people come to restaurants. What are they? They're hungry, right? We drove 30 minutes to get here. We were both starving. Staying there for 15 minutes is not a good feeling to start off with. The food order was a disappointment, a 1 out of 3. It's really disappointing when we get greeted. We're at a restaurant that has a very unique concept, Japanese and Italian. Awesome, I'm freaking excited. Tell me all about it, right? I don't know anything about it. Now, I did my research, obviously, because we're here reviewing the restaurant, but a lot of people aren't gonna do the research. They're gonna see a review and they're gonna come check it out. Maybe their friend told them about it. But mention that, right? Have you been here before? When's the last time you ate here? Oh my gosh, you're in for a treat. We're Italian fusion. Let me tell you why that's awesome. Let me tell you what you gotta get. Let me tell you something you can't miss on the menu. Let me tell you some of the dishes that I absolutely love, and here's why. None of that, just straight to business. So throughout the process, as the meal went on, things got better. I think maybe the server became less busy. I'm not here to judge on one experience. I was a server for a long time. I was a bartender for a long time. I was a host for a long time. I know exactly what it's like. When you're busy, you're gonna miss steps, you're gonna miss things. We're not perfect, we're human, right? When it comes to checking back, fantastic job. Check back on our food, was consistent on it. Pre-busing was a great job. Knowledge was awesome. He knew his stuff, top to bottom. You could tell he's been there for a while. Excitement, I think he had his own excitement. He wasn't over the top, but he still brought his own energy there. I don't need someone to be excited and be like crazy. He brought his own excitement, 3 out of 3 there. Authenticity, I'm gonna give him a 3 out of 3. He was authentic for better or worse in some situation, but he was very authentic. He was being himself, very, very laid back. I can't knock that. Again, it added to the experience, added to the immersion. I again feel like that's someone that they would hire to actually do that, like a friend of theirs that they would hire to actually be a part of that. So 3 out of 3, absolutely. Absolutely. Did the restaurant care about us being there? Did they do their due diligence to train their staff to care about us being there? The answer is yes. The manager, the host, the server, all the 3 people that we interacted with, the food runner, they seemed like they genuinely cared that we were there. They seemed like they genuinely cared that we had a good time. I feel like if I had an issue, they would have solved it. We didn't have an issue though on the food or the drinks. Upkeep, they did a great job, 3 out of 3. Timeliness, actually I'll give it a 1 out of 3, I'm sorry. Took us way too long to greet it, took us way too long to get our food order. After that, everything else was pretty timely for the most part. But that initial greet's so freaking important, right? You can set the worst temperament. Now, we were understanding, we understand that what was happening, we're easy to get along with, right? But you're gonna get people who aren't, and that's a problem. You can't judge people for that. They have the right to have that attitude. They have the right to be that way. If they get irritated early in the transaction, they had really high expectations for this amazing place that they heard about, they read about online, or all the reviews are saying you gotta go there, and they go there, and it takes them 15 minutes to get greeted, and it seems like the server doesn't care, you're gonna set them off in the wrong direction. That's a big deal. That's why hospitality is so important across the board. Busser we didn't interact with, an A. Runner, 3 out of 3. Why? Because when they dropped off the food, they were super friendly. They asked us how we're doing, and then they described the dishes as we dropped it off. They got us excited about the dishes. They talked to us about the dishes as they dropped it off. They didn't just name the dish, put it in front of us. Anything else? Okay, enjoy and walk away. That's transactional. Bartender we didn't deal with, so an A, but drinks were phenomenal. Food, 3 out of 3. The food was amazing, right? Across the board. Now, I don't know if I'm sold on Japanese Italian fusion, at least in the form that we had it, right? The Italian, the pasta that we got seemed like a kind of really light, spicy butter sauce. The noodles were delicious. The dish was delicious, but then they sprinkled nori on top of it. Added almost like a forced Japanese flavor to it, in my opinion. It wasn't like, oh, this is a mixture made in heaven, right? It just kind of felt like it was just sprinkled on top to kind of add. If that wasn't on there, I wouldn't really taste any elements of Japanese. They might have some herbs or something in there, but I couldn't taste them. For the pizza, they had a raw ahi tuna pizza, which was actually pretty freaking good. I was shocked. Lime juice, cilantro, great. Didn't think it would work, but it did. They also had a Japanese pizza that had like 2 different types of Japanese sauces, like a Japanese barbecue, a Japanese mayo, fish flakes. It was so intense. Didn't really dig it. I'm sure some people would. It wasn't for me. But overall, the dessert was amazing. 3 out of 3. Fantastic food. Did a really good job of being authentic, like I mentioned. And one thing he brought to the table that I wish more servers would do, and I will give him a lot of credit for this, he used pattern interrupting verbiage, which I absolutely love. What I mean by that is that he didn't use basic server verbiage here over and over again. How is everything tasting over here? How is that? Can I get that out of your way? Are you all done here? Right? How you guys doing today? Welcome. He used his own swagger to give the verbiage, which I actually really, really respect, and I wish more servers would do this and more restaurants would train their servers to do this. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have weird language you're talking, but get creative when you're talking to people. So if you walk up to the table, can I get that drink out of your way? Are you all done there? Mind if I clear that out of your way? Just that basic transactional stuff. By the way, psychologically, signals in our head that this is a transaction, not an experience, but instead he said some things, and this was a crazy one, right? He said, yeah, may I extract that mojito vessel from the table? And he was talking about the empty glass that a mojito was in. So instead of saying, can I take this glass out of your way? He said, if you mind if I extract that empty mojito vessel? He sold it. It wasn't weird. That's crazy verbiage, but it wasn't weird because he sold it, because he said it with confidence. So that's what I recommend too. Big deal. Like, you train your staff to not be freaking transactional with their verbiage. Like, start with the verbiage. Say some unique things. Use different language. Even if you're just talking about it, you don't have to use these crazy, like that kind of crazy stuff, but you can still talk about it. So overall, would I recommend it? Absolutely. You got to come check it out. Listen, service overall, hospitality was good, right? It was good. They cared. I think we came in when it got busy, and that disrupted the beginning of the flow. If that hadn't happened, this would be almost like a damn near perfect experience, but it did happen. So I can still say good hospitality. They genuinely care. They do the work. Everyone was working together as a team. They cared about the place. The place was clean. You know, it's been here for 4 years. It could start getting dirty at that point, but it stayed clean. The food was great. Absolutely have to try it. Come check it out. Minnesota.